Hey all, how's it going? Just doing a quick drum woodshed channel video here off the dome in one take here. I like to do these quickly and haven't put anything up for a while, so I thought I would show everyone what I was working on. I'm in the drum room here at North Park University doing a little shedding, and I thought I'd bring this concept to you. I'm working on trying to get my get more creative with my Samba Bossa stuff, and if you're paying attention to any of the drummers, a lot of the drummers now out there, especially from the ones from Brazil, but a few Americans, like Mark Walker, but the Brazilian guys, Adrian Ribeiro and Rafael Barata. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it. It might be Rafael, but I'm not quite sure. I'm not good with that. I'm not an expert on Portuguese, nor am I an expert on Brazilian playing. But here's a little exercise that I like to use and give to my students, and also work on myself. A lot of times when we're working on this, everybody wants to kind of get that shaker hand going, playing 16th notes. Or eighth notes if you're thinking of cut time, and that's really cool. We work on that. There are some different techniques to teach that. I'm not going to go into that too deeply here. Some players just do this kind of waggle the finger that I see. Some others kind of appropriate kind of the motion of playing tambourine or something of that nature. Other players kind of do this thing. I've watched Mark Walker do this very often. He's an obvious world-class master at this, but it seems to be this little thing where we maybe, if I got this wrong, he can correct me, but where we kind of tuck it a little bit, like if this is our normal grip, we're tucking it a little bit more like this and kind of waggling it like that. So if this is your normal grip, I'm looking over at the screens here to make sure that I'm doing this right. It's kind of tucking it this way and limits the motion. That's not what I'm to teach you. You find the way to get those out nice and quickly, but what we do a lot of times is we'll get an ostinato going in the right hand, and then we start working on our independence, which is all good and very neat. However, when I listen to a lot of players, all the ones that I've mentioned, and going back as Machado and all these different great players that did this, they don't generally keep that ostinato going forever. Yes, they have great consistency on it. So I'm going to give you a couple exercises to work on to kind of loosen it up. Now, before you get into the exercise I'm going to teach you, I do recommend going through the four patterns, the 3-note patterns we can play, which is 1 E and, 1 and-a, the fork rhythm, or 1 E to E, and then the E and a, or what I call the Erskine, because he's the only guy that I've ever really heard he played it, and when he plays it, it sounds so good. I'm not very good on it. But sit, get your feet going, and just practice putting the rim click on all four of those 16th notes with one of those patterns. So first one. Do that with the fork. Do all four of those rhythms I just mentioned and get that up. But that actually is kind of contrary to what I'm talking about in terms of keeping an ostinato going with your right hand. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you open up starting on page 22 on Syncopation. Now, I'm not going to show a picture of it because I don't want to get any kind of publishing rights, but 22 is the one that just has so on and so forth, okay? Get that one going, get that page up, and then what I want you to do is think of this code. We're going to play that rhythm on the ride cymbal, and what we're going to do is if you see 16th notes, you're going to put the click on the E. If you see 8th notes, you're going to put the click on the beat. In the early stages of page 22 in Syncopation, you're actually going to be clicking on the beat more than anything else. Again, this is not a beat to impress your friends with. Look at me, I can play like a proper Brazilian. This is the exercise to get your ride cymbal going a little bit more and having a little more creativity. So then we're going to add the basic foot ostinato. With any ostinato in practice, I'm going to play it more mechanically than I would in a live situation. Hopefully that's for you. And I know for all the masters I've already talked about, it's definitely true for them. But I'll get this going. third. It doesn't take too long before now you have to kind of get that burst and play those for 2 sets of 16ths. My recommendation is don't try to keep on accenting that on the 1 in the right cymbal. Follow your rim click, and it's okay to get a little motivation. It does not have to sound like. It has to sound like. It can float a little bit. So this is like number 5 with this same system. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to get down to the ones where you have 3. When you get to number 11, you are going to be playing a full bar of 16ths. I don't know if I can do it right now. Put the pressure on. Didn't really feel so great, but that's the idea. So it's just very simple. 8th notes, you're just playing. 16th notes, you're playing. When you get down to the 20 bar exercise on 23, now we're getting to the point kind of where I want this exercise to be. I'll play a little bit of that. So on and so forth. If you want to take it further, we're going to use the same application with lesson 11, which is on page 24. That is combining 1 E-ands and 1 andas. It's the same thing. The rim click will happen on the 3 when we have the on the E, sorry, when we play the variation. So 1 E-ands will be number 2, which is 1 and a 2. The rim click will be by itself on the E. So I'll play lines 4 and let's do one that has. I'll do 5 and 6 from lesson 11, page 24 in Syncopation. Here we go. You can take this idea as far as you want. You can maybe do it with the click on the whatever. When we get into page 27 and 28, it's cool. And then the goal would be obviously to get to the 48 bar exercise and 48 bar exercise on pages 28 and 29 and do the whole reading. After a while, I say just start improvising with that and then take one of those rhythms and maybe start adding some other rim clicks. So I'll go back to page 23, and maybe, let's see, 14. And then you're going to start improvising and breaking that up instead of just sitting there going. Which is, of course, a great exercise and something we want to do and get that down. Also practice on the hi-hat. And I've mentioned in other videos, my final tip on this is if you're having trouble getting those rim clicks in, it's a lot of time, we spend a lot of time trying to stab and kind of reach for them. When you're playing those exercises, I'm saying this on like almost every style, imagine that, let's say I'm going to put it on the E. Instead of kind of getting on the edge of that, imagining that connection as being a left slam. You probably are just going to end up playing at unison, but imagine it as in a left slam and you're going to be good to go. So. And that's going to start floating for you. I can't get it real fast like the masters do, but just from this practice session that I spent the last half an hour on, I've noticed that I'm getting this faster, but more importantly, just more groovy. All right, I hope you like it, and check it out. Thanks to all the masters for this kind of a conglomeration of all their styles that I've kind of mixed together here into this exercise. Hopefully I'll get there someday. Maybe you too.